Welcome back, you guys, and yeah, I know that tonight's video is very late. To be honest, I was not expecting to release another video for today, but you know, when you follow this club, there's non-stop news coming out every single time, and I'm thinking, you know what, it's my responsibility to bring you guys the latest happening with the club right now. So for today's News Daily video, I'll be speaking about the latest with Willian. I'll be speaking about the injury reports on Barkley and Pulisic for the upcoming game against Man City. I'll be speaking about Mourinho's first interview as the new Spurs manager, and of course, you know, he can't keep our club out his mouth. And I'll be speaking about the latest with the Arkas Appeal and the latest with Olivier Giroud. But you guys, before I get into anything, if you do like today's video, don't forget to smash that like button. Help me get over 2,000 likes for today's video. And on that note, boys, we move straight into things, starting with the latest reports surrounding Willian. Now, I've got some details to let you guys know about the Willian deal. Of course, the reports are correct. The club have offered Willian a 2-year deal with the option for a further year's extension. I can let you guys know though that Willian's proposed to the club that he wants a 3-year contract with the option for an extension on top of that deal. And you guys might be thinking, is Willian starting to get a bit greedy right now? Listen, from the player's perspective, I understand it. When you see Willian right now, he looks very fit, he looks very sharp, and it's going to be the final contract that he potentially signs. So it's going to be very serious. But however, you guys, there is another reason why Willian has proposed this deal, and that's because he wants to stall the deal until the summer. When it gets to the summertime, Willian wants to fully assess all his possible options, and he's hoping that clubs like Barca, Inter and others are going to make big offers for the player. Now, of course, in January, Willian can sign pre-contract agreements, but it looks like that won't be the case. As I said, the player wants to wait until summer to fully assess all his possible options. Now, the cynical part of me feels like, would it be a surprise if Mourinho came in with an offer for Willian? I'm not too sure, you guys. Of course, Willian had a great spell under Mourinho. They do have a very good relationship as well. Willian would get to stay in London, and I'm sure that Tottenham would meet his financial demands. But a part of me also feels like, why would Willian leave on bad terms? That wouldn't make too much sense. As I said, potential offers from Barcelona and Inter Milan could be what seals Willian's future. And you guys might have heard me speak about this before because, you know, I did predict that Willian would do exactly what I'm talking about in a previous video on the story. So because of that, I'm not going to spend too much time analyzing this story. I've kind of done that already. But all I'm going to say is, if Willian decides to go, I'll be happy with that. And if Willian decides to sign a new contract and stay, because remember, the offer is currently available to the player, I'd also be happy with that because Willian's been one of our best players this season. It's no surprise why he's looking so well because he's playing with a lot of tactical freedom that Willian's been stifled with since he signed for us, really, you know. He's been that understudy to Hazard. He's been stationed down the right hand side, forced to play with Azpilicueta, and you know, that hasn't been too great for him. As I'm implying, it's down to the player. He has my blessings regardless. As long as you don't sign for Tottenham, Willian. Don't take the piss now. Now, for the second news report. Of course, I need to talk about Mourinho's first interview since he signed for Tottenham and become their new manager today. I'll keep it very real with you guys. I was not expecting to speak about Mourinho at all. After today's video, I thought that would be the last time I ever speak about Mourinho until the match preview against Tottenham. But of course, the guy can't keep our club out his mouth. So many sly digs, low-key digs. It's really peak Mourinho. Now, I'm not going to run through this whole interview because I'm not a Spurs fan channel. Instead, I'm going to focus on the most salacious part of that interview. And instead, you guys, I'm going to read it out to you. There is not one manager in the world that doesn't like to play with young players and to help young players develop, not one. The problem is that sometimes you get into clubs where the work that is below you is not good enough to produce these players. So I look to our history, of course, the new Tottenham manager, and you see that the academy is always giving talents the first team need. Of course, I always look forward to working with that profile. Now, I could start laughing now, you guys. Like this guy, Mr. Revisionist himself, like the way this guy rewrites history. It's like he's Thanos with that finger snap, you guys. Like, I'm being serious. Like maybe Mourinho's doing that in his head, and this is how he's able to constantly forget all the nonsense he says and move on from that. I'm not too sure, you guys. Now, I can imagine that some of you might be thinking, Nini, what makes you think that he's talking about us? how do you know he's not speaking about his time at Man United? All I can say to that is, we should know Jose Mourinho by now. And honestly, I just can't take it, you know? Is he trying to imply that the young players that he had at his disposal at the time weren't good enough? I mean, that's complete nonsense. That is incorrect. You know, during that time Mourinho was here, we were winning tournaments, trophies, and everything at youth level. You know, that wasn't different. I'm sorry, I need to break down these quotes. I mean, him talking about Tottenham's history of producing young players, I can imagine that he's speaking of the likes of Harry Kane and Danny Rose, for example. But my question is, if Mourinho was the Spurs manager at the time when guys like Rose and Kane were first starting to break through into the first team, would these guys have got the opportunity? I don't think so. Let's be serious. These guys most definitely would not have got that opportunity. You can thank Tim Sherwood and Pochettino for bringing that vision to life. Like, imagine Mourinho at the time when they had Adebayor and Soldado. Are you telling me that he's giving first team opportunities and minutes to Harry Kane, a guy that didn't do anything on loan in the Championship? Of course not. Mourinho is not doing that. And for me, it's another ploy to, win the hearts of the Spurs fans very quickly and very cynically. If I was a Spurs fan, I would take his words very lightly. I would not take them too seriously. When Mourinho first came back for the second time, remember that prime moment? The upcoming game against Lisbon in the Champions League, it was known as Academy Day in the press because Mourinho basically implied that expect to see a lot of young players getting opportunities to play in the first team. Now, during that game, there was a lot of build-up and hype in regards to Rubin, finally getting his first full debut for the team. And what happened in the end, you guys? What happened in the end? Rubin only ends up getting 10 minutes against Lisbon. No one else got any other opportunities as well. And honestly, you guys, I will forever stick it on Mourinho. I really felt like he was trying to jeopardize Rubin. If Mourinho had his way and had full control of the academy, I'm telling you guys, Mourinho would have turned Rubin into the Burberry of McTominays. The Burberry of McTominays. I remember Rubin's first game against Liverpool, playing as a DM. Honestly, it looked like a far cry from the Rubin I knew. The Rubin that I knew to, break the lines, carry the ball, play with skill, with pace. Instead, he played very timidly. He played as a defensive midfield player. And it just highlighted to me that Mourinho was not the right guy for young players. I felt like this guy tried to destroy Rubin before he even got the opportunity, really. Thank God that he left the club and he did. Rubin's proved to us that he is the right guy for us. Last season, we saw this guy shine, and it is the main reason why the club gave Rubin such a big contract, because they fully believe in the player. And of course, you guys, let's not forget the quotes he made about Baker, Aki, Solanke, and all those players at the time, suggesting that if they weren't England internationals in the next few years, he would have failed as a manager. Now, what really annoys me is that the press have never once stuck it on Mourinho. Not once have they done that. And of course, it was proven to be another lie. I mean, the amount of lies he told is ridiculous. He lied that Baker was going to be part of the first team setup. Baker was not part of the first team setup that season. And I'm sorry, I remember Mourinho talking about how, if the academies don't produce any players worthy for the first team, then shut the academy down and sign players instead. Now, in Mourinho's ideal vision, he wants players to suit his style of football. But the reason why the club's academy was so successful at the time and is still so successful is because we produce players for a modern world. That's the main reason. And we can see that in full effect, you guys, because we've got about 6-7 players now from the academy playing in the first team. And look how we've kept that consistency in our playing level. That hasn't dipped, that hasn't gone down. If Mourinho had his way, Rubin would become the new McTominay. He wouldn't be the player we're talking about right now. And Mourinho talking about things like, managers needing at least 10 years to settle down first. All this complete nonsense. Well, if that's the case, Mourinho, then why the hell are we successful at this point in the season? I mean, come on. But I'm sorry, just to end this point, because honestly, you guys, I can go on. I can keep dissecting everything he's saying and proving it to be wrong. Comments he's making about the Spurs Academy. Now, I'm going to say it straight. No disrespect to any player from the Spurs Academy, but to suggest that there's something promising and amazing happening right now, I mean, you guys, as you can see beside me, here are the league tables for the Premier League, League 2, and the Under-18 League. As you can see, compare our positions against Spurs. I mean, you can see it for yourself, you guys. Earlier this season, we beat them 5-3. You know, I think we scored 5 goals in the first half. Because we dominated in the first half, the whole team fell off in the second half. And that's how Spurs got the 3 goals back in the end. But the amount of games I've watched where we thrashed Spurs, I mean, look at the FA Youth Cup games. You know, we've consistently been above their academy. We've consistently thrashed them by big scores every single time. Mourinho is literally talking out his arse. But at this point, you guys, I'm starting to feel like Mourinho maybe is the perfect match for Tottenham. Good luck, Tottenham fans. It's going to be a very bumpy road. And you guys, as I'm saying, I could talk about this guy forever, but I think it's enough. I don't want to speak about him again until the match preview. So you guys, move on to the next story. And that's in regards to Olivier Giroud and his possible transfer to Inter Milan. Now, this story has been reported by Gazzetta dello Sport via the Daily Mail, and they're suggesting that there's a hold-up between Giroud and Inter Milan due to contract length and the wages that the player wants. Now, the issue is Giroud wants a contract length taking him to 2022. Instead, Inter want to offer him an 18-month deal. And as well, there's an issue with the wage demands. Currently, Giroud's earning about 6.9 million per season. And of course, Inter Milan don't want to pay anywhere near that type of money. The only reason why they're looking at Giroud right now is because Alexis Sanchez is currently out injured. But I have to say, you guys, like, I don't understand why Giroud would even consider going to Inter. Now, of course, I get it from, a historical point of view. You get to play in the Champions League as well. Yeah, I get it. But if he does sign for Inter Milan, it's literally going to be a case of Groundhog Day, because Giroud will not sign for them as their first choice striker. That's not going to happen. It's going to be deja vu again. He's going to be the third choice striker. And honestly, I don't understand why he'd even consider signing for Inter Milan. Regardless though, it looks very certain that Giroud will be leaving us very soon, and of course it's very unfortunate for the player. He's not out the team because he's been bad or he's a disruptive influence. He's out the team because from a tactical point of view, we don't really need him. We don't need a target man. Regardless though, he's been a very good servant for the club. I've got a lot of respect for Giroud, and I hope that he picks the best possible club so he gets first team football. We move on to the next story, and that's going to be the injury updates to Christian Pulisic and Ross Barkley. Now, a report came out from The Sun suggesting that Pulisic might not be fit for the game against Man City. It was the same thing for Ross Barkley, but however, since that story was first released, it seems like the real information has come out, and Pulisic is fit and available for selection against Man City. So fans, don't worry about that. Pulisic isn't out right now. He's fit. It seems like there was a mistake at the Sun of the story. When it comes to Ross Barkley, I'm not going to lie, you guys, I don't really care if he's injured or not. He's not going to play against Man City regardless. Ross Barkley was training with the team normally today, so it seems like maybe the reports that the Sun got weren't as accurate. It can happen at times, you know. Sometimes the sources or links you get are a bit overzealous at times, and you know what? It is what it is. But regardless, you guys, to end things today with the final report, I need to talk about the latest with Arkas Appeal. Now, we know today that was when the hearing took place. We didn't get any concrete answers though. We aren't going to get the final verdict until sometime during December. Unfortunately, reports can't confirm the exact date. It seems like hopefully it is going to be before the January window opens again, and the best guess is that sometime during December, about midway through December, we should get the final verdict on the hearing. I will tell you guys before I wrap things up, regardless of whether, we get the hearing in time or not, that doesn't mean that we can't talk to players. As I keep stressing every single time, anytime you see a transfer ban, remember, it basically means a registration ban. We can talk to players, we can make bids, we can make offers, we can secure deals in place right now if we want, It just means that we can't register the player to actually play for the club. So let's not panic at all, you guys. I feel pretty confident that our appeal is going to be overturned. We will be signing players again shortly, and exciting times ahead, you guys. But still, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. It's getting pretty late now, boys. I'm getting pretty tired. And of course, tomorrow I've got a lot of videos planned. There's going to be so much coming. The upcoming game against Man City this weekend at 5:30 PM UK time. So you guys, make sure you tune into Blue Lines TV every single day. On that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lines TV. See you guys in a bit.